Yeah, I feel like I can't hear Glaze without, as someone who spends their time around a lot of Gen Alpha people. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kirby Conversations. I'm Sean Douglas. I'm a writer, podcaster, and teacher. And I am back with Bridget. Hi, Bridget.
Hi there. My name's Bridget. I'm a longtime fan, commentator, collector, fan artist, all around Kirby fanatic. Happy to be here.
And we're also back with Gigi. Hi, Gigi.
Hi, I'm Gigi. I'm a big Kirby fan from Brazil. I'm the editor-in-chief of Kirby, and I do a lot of Kirby stuff like translating interviews from Japanese to English. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. Feels like it's been a while since we did an episode with all three of us, so good to have you both back here. Kirby Conversations is a part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, along with Flashback 64, Pixels and Polygons, Instruction Derby, and a new show that I'm doing now called Millennium Edition about video games during that turn of the millennium period, like the GameCube, Dreamcast, other consoles of that time. So if you like this show, we encourage you to check out the other shows in our network as well. And just a bit of other housekeeping stuff. So like I said, I have a new podcast out if people are interested in checking out another show for me that will also have a lot of familiar Soundstone Network folks on it. That's Millennium Edition. And our first episode was about Soul Calibur 2 and Link as a guest character in that game. There's a link to that in the show notes. And also, I was just talking with Bridget and Gigi about this too. We mentioned this on our social media, but Soundstone was just at the Midwest Gaming Classic. So I was there promoting Kirby Conversations along with Gui and McKenna from Flashback 64. And we had a really nice time meeting with people, handing out flyers, handing out stickers, talking about Kirby with folks, got some new people to subscribe, saw some repeat folks from last year who remembered me from the year before. It was a nice time. And a favorite moment, I think, there were a lot of interesting people that we talked to. There is this one kid who spent a lot of time talking to us. He came by and I think he was playing, we had a few games out, and I think he was playing Kirby 64 for a while. I think this was the same person. So that kid was playing the Flashback 64 people had brought a TV so people could play a Nintendo 64 at our booth. So this 14-year-old was there playing for a while. And then he came back later and was talking to us about all the old video game consoles he liked and how his favorite console was the GameCube. And he also has a Sega Saturn and a PSP and a PS Vita. And he was listing all these other things that he has. And I was very impressed, and he was very well spoken. And I forget exactly how it came up. I asked him if he had picked up anything at the convention or whatever, because there's a huge vendor hall. So he opens up his bag and just starts taking out game after game after game that he's purchased there. And he said he'd been saving up from his summer job or something. And he had spent $600 on games there.
Whoa.
Very, very surprised. But he had such a good haul. He was taking out Super Metroid and Super Mario RPG and Yoshi's Island and Kirby and the Amazing Mirror and a big stack of GameCube games. You know, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes and Wave Race Blue Storm and Crazy Taxi, and he just kept taking out more and more games. And then he realized he had gotten 2 copies of Mario Land. Because he took out Mario Land, then he took out another one. Was like, oh, I accidentally got another one. And he was like, what, did you just black out?
Amazing.
But yeah, I believe he subscribed to this show. I don't know, he seemed interested in it. His name was Maximus. So shout out to Maximus. Thanks for showing us all the games you got. It was fun to meet you. Thanks for supporting the network. And I hope you have fun with your $600 of games. I even took a picture of his big stack. I was like, can I take a picture of this? It was very funny, but very cool.
Oh, that's amazing. On one hand, I'd be like, if I was the parent, I'd be like, you spent all your money on this, but then as soon as I see the Super Metroid and the Mario RPG, I'm like, I'm so proud.
And I guess it was his money. He had a job of some kind.
Yeah, no, it's cool. That's the time when you can do stuff like that. If I do that as an adult now, I feel like, what have I done? But when you're a kid, you gotta enjoy yourself while you can, while you don't have those responsibilities.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess compared to his 600, I got one $25 game and one $35 game. So I guess I spent a tenth of what he did. I got Virtual On for the Sega Saturn, but it was like the Japanese version, which is like a mech game that I've like heard is quite good.
Yeah.
And then I got Kirby Battle Royale, which I have actually never played before.
Nice.
Whoa.
I was going to buy it, and then I wasn't sure if the place like took cards or not, because there's all these different stands like with different rules and such. And they said they only took cash, and then I thought that like, oh, I might not have that. So because I knew I didn't have like that much like cash on me, and I had $36 on me, and the game was $35. So I had like just enough to buy Kirby Battle Royale with the cash I had on hand. So it was a good convention. I look forward to playing Kirby Battle Royale, and we will probably, hopefully, talk about that on an episode, I guess, in the in the near future, maybe. I've been very busy with school, but trying to make time for some video games still along the way. And then speaking of playing things and playing video games, for our topic today, I thought we could revisit the idea of games that we recommend to Kirby fans outside of the Kirby series. So other games that are not Kirby games that we think Kirby fans would like. These might be games that play like Kirby. These might be games that are just thematically similar or have certain aspects that we think would still appeal to someone who likes Kirby, or maybe Smash Brothers, or maybe things adjacent to Kirby. We did an episode like this a while ago, and it was pretty popular. It got a good response. And I know Bridget and Gigi, I know you've both prepared things to talk about. I've got some things in mind. I feel like this has been kind of a long introduction on my part. So Bridget or Gigi, would one of you like to start? I know, Bridget, I know you brought a bunch of ideas here. I'm really excited to hear about the things that you have listed, because some were things I had never heard of before. So Bridget, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. I guess I'll just go in the order of how I've listed things. So I'd like to mention, because at least in my case, I've been quite obsessed with Kirby Air Riders. And it's a game I love and enjoyed the surprise release of. But there was a game prior to Air Riders coming out, because no one knew that Air Ride was going to have a sequel, and people have been craving that city trial action for many years. So there was a studio called Game Garage LLC that took it upon themselves, and they're currently working on a game called Star Garden, which is actually a bit of an amalgamation, but it's highly influenced by City Trial from Kirby Air Ride. But it's an interesting indie project inspired by the Dreamcast and GameCube era, with big inspiration from the gameplay that includes Air Ride and Sonic's Chow Garden subgame. I don't know if you remember that little like pet raising game that was kind of a part of the Sonic Adventure games from Dreamcast. Like, you could even put them in your little memory card that you could plug into the controller. Did anyone else have that?
I remember it from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yes,
that's my reference for it on the GameCube.
Yes, that's the game that had it. Was the second Sonic Adventure game on there. Yeah, so there is a similar like aspect to that in this game, but it plays a bigger role. But there's also aesthetic influences from games like Jet Grind Radio, with grinding tricks and different stylish human riders, and there's a great retro presentation. It looks like a game from like this era of like 3D, like kind of post PlayStation a little. And you can ride stars around, and you raise them. They're called Loomies, and you collect power-ups from playing essentially City Trial that allows you to upgrade them, and they'll evolve as you collect upgrades when you're playing them in City Trial. But the whole thing is fun. It's like both pet raising simulator and then like this fun arcade battle-y similar thing as a Kirby Air Ride type of gameplay. The game is not out yet, but there is a demo that you can try. And I did download the demo to try it. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. I felt a little weird coming from Air Riders to this game because it has its kind of own physics and everything. But it is, and the map is way bigger. It's a little big. I don't want to say too much about how I feel about it yet because it is a demo and it's not out yet. But it is interesting, and I thought I had fun with it. So I would encourage people who enjoy Air Ride to check it out. You can download it. I believe they've added maybe a racing demo to it as well recently. And they're trying to also kickstart or develop so that they can have a Switch version or Switch 2 version. I think Gigi's also heard of this game as well, if if you wanted to mention anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, one thing I did learn about this game a while ago is because one of the composers of Kirby and also I Ride with Shogo Sakai is actually going to like make music for this game. It was, I think, a Kickstarter goal and it reached. And I think he has even like tweeted about it or something. So I think it's really cool that like he's freelance now, so he can work in an indie game based on our rights. So that's like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played the game. I have heard about it, especially even before like our Riders was announced, because everyone wanted like Kirby Ride 2, and this was an interesting project. But I didn't have the opportunity yet to play the demo. But I do want to try it, give it a try. I haven't played like the Sonic games, so I don't know exactly like that aspect of like raising the creatures or anything. But like, that's the thing I like, and I think it's also something I think when I think of Kirby, like the cute things also. So I think it's really, it still like feels like its own thing, but also I can feel like the inspiration of Kirby and Sonic, and it's really nice when people just make their own thing based on something else and it's still their own thing. So yeah, I would definitely check it out. And who knows, maybe if I like it, buy it when it releases, but I want to try the demo.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I agree. It's like, I think you might see it and think it's simply an Air Ride, sort of like a spiritual successor, and it is in a lot of ways, but I think they elevate it by sort of feeling very inspired by just like games of that time and going for that like cool aesthetic look to it, and having the pet simulation as part of it. It sort of encompasses that time, and I think it's neat. It gives it a bit more dimension. It sort of gives it a little different like element to it, whereas like the Air Ride machines are sort of fun and collectible in a way that like cars are, or like certain machines are appealing. Like the Loomies are sort of appealing in this like kind of cute, the like pet simulator aspect with the kind of like a Pokemon style thing. So that's cool too.
Yeah, I think that like of the games that we're going to talk about on this episode, like there are some pretty obscure ones we're going to mention later on. And I think this is one that has been out there in circles. I think a lot of Kirby folks have maybe seen this game before or heard of it before, but if they haven't yet, this is one that is like very clearly inspired by a Kirby thing that would be like right up people's alleys. If they're looking for something where they're like, I want more Air Riders, what's like that? This is the exact thing to recommend to someone who's looking for a game like that.
Yeah.
It's been in development for a while. I think they reached some pretty big Kickstarter goals and stuff, and it seems like a cool project, and I'm curious to see how it all turns out. Now, for the next one, I have brought Smart Ball for the Super Nintendo. Do either of you know Smart Ball?
No, I've never heard of it.
This is a game I remember renting with my brother a long time ago, like as kids. But it's a game by Game Freak before they made Pokemon. One of the character designers is Ken Sugimori, who designed most of the original Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So the developers were Game Freak and System Sakam, and it was actually published by Sony ImageSoft in North America and Epic and Sony Records in Japan. So it's like it's a Sony affiliated game, actually. The director was Satoshi Tajiri, and lots of folks involved in this one. I won't just like read off the whole list here, but we've got other designers: Satoshi Tajiri, director; Akihito Tomasawa, programmer was Mark Flint, artists, like I mentioned, Ken Sugimori and Mucho Tanaka, writers Satoshi Tajiri again, Ken Sugimori, and others. And it's a pretty straightforward platformer in a lot of ways, but it is cute, it is fun, and you play as this jelly bean character, and he can stick to walls and ceilings, and that's a big gameplay hook to it that makes it different, is that you like just the traversal is very interesting and distinct. Your character collects balls that he can throw as a projectile. You defeat enemies by either squishing yourself down and hitting them while you flatten yourself, or you can stand on them and press down and kind of like sort of absorb into them in a way. He doesn't like suck them into him. Absorb is sort of the wrong word, but you attack while sitting on their heads and attack down on them. I believe you can attack enemies like in the air by stretching out and stuff too. And on the ground, he can like stretch upward to hit things. And so it's an interesting game. I remembered liking it as a kid. Like we just rented it. I never played all the way through it or anything, but I went back and played it a little bit more through the powers of the internet. I was able to play Smart Ball to prepare for this, and it was fun for what it is. And I particularly like the instruction manual for this game. So Nick McConnell in our network does Instruction Derby, where he reads video game manuals on his stream, and I feel like this would be a good manual for him. I'm gonna put a link to it in the chat here, so you both can see it too if you want to. Sure. But there were just things that I thought were kind of funny and interesting about this game's story. So the premise is that somewhere there is a mystical land called Kyleria, where the people have been living in peace and harmony for as long as anyone can remember. The king, Jeffrey, is very wise and just, and he is now preparing to retire and pass the crown to his eldest son, Jerry. Jerry has just married his wife, Wendy, and is ready to assume the responsibilities of leadership. But Jeffrey's other son, Tom, is jealous of Jerry and has enlisted the help of the Bad Wizard, and that is capitalized. I guess that is his name, the Bad Wizard. And together they have brought down a great curse upon Jerry. And I should also note that Jerry and
it's all in caps.
But only Jerry is in all caps. The other characters' names are written out, normally. They have stolen Wendy away and stripped Jerry of his humanity, reducing him to a small ball. It's like I don't know if he's a jelly bean or a ball. Like they kind of call him different things at different points. Now he must slither his way to the Bad Wizard's castle to return to his normal self and rescue Princess Wendy.
So he looks like those little guys from Puyo Puyo.
Yeah,
it does look like those. Yeah. But it's a fun game. I think the character is really cute. I think sticking to walls is a neat mechanic. I like how they refer to the enemies as critters. So some of the critters are mice, Firebird, and just bird. So Firebird and bird are different. There is big rocks and small rocks. There is rabbit. There's also fat pig and various others. I also liked at the very beginning of this manual when they say, "Warning, please read the enclosed consumer information precautions booklet carefully before using your Nintendo hardware system or game pack." And for like the title sequence, it's like, when you first turn on Smart Ball, you can listen to the Smart Ball music for as long as you want. When you have heard enough, press the start button to begin your game. So that's Smart Ball. It's a pretty straightforward platformer, but it did have an unreleased sequel that was also made. And do you want to guess the name of the sequel?
Is it Smarter Ball?
The sequel is Jelly Boy 2. Which is also interesting. So in Japan, you might think, oh, well, maybe it was called Jelly Boy in Japan or something, because this was an unreleased Japanese game. But in Japan, the first one was called Jerry Boy. And yet the sequel is called Jelly Boy 2. And it is not the sequel to another Super Nintendo game called Jelly Boy. So the
heck?
linguistic things that are going on here. So I wonder if there's something going on with how I believe there's sort of a connection between L's and R's in Japanese.
Yes.
Oh.
And so
yes, so sorry if I can explain.
Oh,
like
yeah,
they're
go
the
ahead.
same sound. So like Jerry is like jelly as well. So like it's kind of a pun in Japanese. So like if you think about it, it's the same word.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, because it's like it's not like it was supposed to be jelly or something, right? It's intentionally
Mhm.
Jerry.
Yeah, it's Jerry.
And there seems
like
to be. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. It's honestly because it looks like a jelly bean. It's probably like that's the intention. Like they call a character Jerry because it looks like a jelly bean, which in Japanese they call like jelly bean or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and yet there's also like the Tom reference, right? So it seems like there's like a
Yes.
pun on Tom and Jerry, while
Yes.
also making a pun on jelly beans. Like it's like there's some like deep wordplay going on here.
Yes, I love that.
And yet it seems like by the time they like got to the sequel, they just decided to not try to do that anymore and just call it Jelly Boy 2 and like kind of just say, well, let's just say the first one was called Jelly Boy, even though it wasn't. And the Jelly Boy that we got here in the United States, I don't think came out in Japan. So there wasn't that conflict either. But it is weird to have a Jelly Boy and a Jelly Boy 2 and have no connection between them.
That's funny.
But but Jelly Boy 2 is actually very good and it's out there, it's playable. I found a way to play it and it is mostly finished. And it could just be that like Sony had kind of moved on from like making games through the Super Famicom or something. On the cutting room floor, they mentioned that last minute cancellation could be explained with Sony moving on from providing third party support for the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo. So it got coverage, like it was sort of like definitely like planned for release. And it takes the initial concepts of Smart Ball and builds them out more. There's multiple characters, the graphics are better, has good music. The sticking mechanics also are easier. Like in the first one, you have to hold down a button to like stick to things, and there is a bit of this like rubbing your tummy, patting your head kind of thing going on. And the sticking happens more automatically in the sequel. And so I recommend people checking out both the first one, but kind of especially the second one. I would say if you're curious about these games, maybe play the first one first, just so you have something to compare it to. But the sequel is quite good. I haven't played all the way through either of these games or anything, but I've watched gameplay of them and played them and feel like I have a good sense of what they're about. But it's neat to have the other characters. There's more backtracking and more, you can choose your own path through Jelly Boy 2 more. So if people like Kirby games, if you like cute round characters that have interesting traversal mechanics, or maybe if you're just curious about what Game Freak was up to before they were making Pokemon, I would recommend Smart Ball / Jelly Boy 2.
Hi, this is Mono, the host of Tokyo Game Life, a Tokyo-based video game podcast focused on Nintendo and gaming culture in Japan's capital. Every episode features amazing guests as we highlight a gaming-related place to visit in Tokyo or a unique aspect of Japan's vibrant video game scene. I take you inside amazing locales in Tokyo like Poke Park Kanto, the newest Pokemon theme park, exhibits centered around Earthbound and Final Fantasy, the best shops to pick up merch like Yamashiroya, the sacred land of Kirby goods. And I dive deep into Japanese and Nintendo-centered topics like how Nintendo makes fonts for their games, why there are so many moai in Japanese video games, series overviews on Japanese franchises like Starfy and Goemon, plus many topics that you won't find on any other podcast. Tokyo Game Life, your slice of gaming life from Tokyo, available on all podcast platforms.
Bridget, did you have another one? Or were there any you wanted to mention, Gigi?
I think Bridget has many, so she can go.
Yeah, Bridget has a big list. I'm curious about these.
All right. The second one I have on my list is Kero Kero Cowboy, which is a modern retro homebrew game developed by Metagame Mike. It's a Game Boy Color game where you play as a cowboy frog keeping the Wild West safe from outlaws. You're able to use a gun, but when managing ammo, you have the option to also use your long tongue to swallow enemies and shoot them back out. Which
just
is
like
very...
a real cowboy.
Yeah, just like, I was gonna say just like Kirby, but then you uh, just like a real cowboy, um, who's also a frog. Um, this game is awesome. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with like the retro homebrew scene, but there are people who are basically programming and making new video games for old consoles. So there are people making new Sega Genesis games, Super Nintendo games, Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games, and it's a really cool scene. There's a couple of games in that scene that I think are actually really, really good and worth checking out. And this is one of them. This game is awesome. Like, I feel like it has that Kirby influence. It's got some Mario influence as well. I feel if it had come out during the Game Boy, it would basically be like a top Game Boy game. It's very nice, very charming. The graphics are cute. There's a lot of different things you can do in the game, level through level. You'll find yourself like there's like the boot, like kind of a similar thing as the Mario boot. There's little like mine carts. There's like the little spicy power up that gives you like fire breath. There's a couple things you can do in a couple levels, and it's just so well done. I feel like it's like the missing Game Boy hidden gem, but it never, came out in the past. But it's coming out now, and it's awesome. You can play it on any device that plays retro games, and it's out on Steam now. It's not very expensive. If you like games like Dreamland 2 or even Dreamland, it feels like a perfect recommendation for like the Kirby fan who grew up with like Kirby on Game Boy and who enjoyed the Game Boy in general.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just looking at a GIF of it actually right now, but it looks a lot like Kirby.
Yeah.
And sorry for interrupting you before with the cowboy joke.
Oh no, it's okay.
I didn't mean to like steal your thunder with the reveal of like the tongue being like Kirby, because I'm looking at it now and it's like the tongue thing is like exactly like Kirby, like shooting the star out, like very, very Kirby inspired.
Mm-hmm.
But this looks really fun and I had never heard of it before.
It's awesome. I highly recommend it. It's cute. I'm pretty into, like, ever since having like my Amber Nick, I wanted to sort of, people see retro game devices and they might think that's sort of like a gray area of like, however you want to enjoy your video games. But I feel like besides running, classic games or whatever as an option, there is a way that you can support new games that come out and still enjoy like your retro handhelds. And the homebrew scene was something I was looking into where it's like I can purchase an indie game and I'm supporting an indie developer, but I'm also using my retro handheld, which I enjoy. And this was like a game that just came up. I really enjoyed it. The developer of it follows me on Blue Sky too. They're very nice, and they're working on more Game Boy games if folks want to check them out. But yeah, if you want to check out, it's a Meta Game Mike is the developer. So, and yeah, check it out. It's awesome.
Okay, well, very neat.
Yeah, I can go next. I don't have a lot of games like Bridget has. Like, she has a whole list. I don't play a lot of like games. Like, I've been playing a couple games that I'm not sure if fit. But I was thinking also mention in general like the Rhythm Heaven series. And I also want to mention because there is a new game coming to the Nintendo Switch like in 3 months. It's in July. It has been the first game like in 10 years. And the reason I'm bringing up Rhythm Heaven in general is because I think it, like, gameplay-wise, it's a rhythm game. So if you like Diddy's Dream Dash or Diddy's Dream Dash Deluxe that has, like, the rhythm game and stuff, you're probably going to like this one. But I think what I think more, like, relates to Kirby from the series, it's, like, the art style and how it's more like a bit of a relaxing game. Like, it's a rhythm game, so it's kind of like Kirby. Like, you start playing the game, it's easy at first, but like if you want to 100% or if you want to like master the game, it's really hard. And that's what Rhythm Heaven is for me. Like, it's just a bunch of mini games, like written mini games, and like when you think about it, they're really simple. You usually most of the time you just press a button or maybe 2 buttons in the written, and that's it most of the game. But you wanna get like perfect and do the challenge and everything, it's really hard. So I think if you like something that's simple, but also that if you need to want to master, you have to like practice or just like really get invested in it, and it's really hard. Like Kirby, Really Heaven is a series that is like that. And again, like they have a game coming out in a couple months, but the games were in GBA, but that one was Japanese only. Maybe we'll come to the Nintendo Switch Online, but right now it isn't. There is a DS game, Wii game, and 3DS game. So if you want to go and play some of them right now, but you can also wait for the Switch release, which I hope it's also good. But I'm just biased because I love the series and I've been waiting for a new game. But I do think it's a type of game if you're like looking for something that you can play like a little bit and stop, and also you can get really invested. It's really for you.
Cool. I've only played a little bit of maybe the Wii one, and I gotta say I was not very good at it. I got no rhythm. But no, it was really cute. I love like it's got like a kind of WarioWare charm to it too. So if you dig that, I think that's really up there.
Yeah, I think it's the same developers also.
Oh, okay.
Or probably like part of the developers. That's probably why their art style is so similar. But yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I've never played any of the Rhythm Heaven games, but they look really fun and really creative.
They are, yeah. They have like a charm that I think it's kind of similar to Kirby. Like I think Kirby has its own charm as well, but like Really Heaven's just like its own thing. It's hard to explain as to play it, so yeah, I do recommend it.
Yeah, something I particularly appreciate about older Kirby is the surrealness and the just these disparate things being put together. And I think sometimes with modern Kirby, there's a bit more of a cohesive, I don't know, cohesive sense of character designs and what Kirby's reality is. And it does feel like there's a lot more kind of random ideas being thrown together sometimes in older Kirby games, where you can have a random boss that's a parody of old RPGs, and then you have a whale, and then you have various kinds of technology that you're fighting, and there's just a certain surreal quirkiness to it that I like, and I think Rhythm Heaven has that same kind of surreal quirkiness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's I get that vibe too. It's very quirky, especially because some of them are sort of like the most famous one that I remember that I didn't play it myself, but I feel like everyone brings it up when it's Rhythm Heaven is like the interview with the Lucha Libre wrestler.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just like it seems very fun.
It is. Yeah, I agree. Like it's just like anything can be a game in that series. So yeah, I do think that's kind of similar to Kirby as well.
Do you find yourself thinking about your rhythm now in just like everyday mundane situations, like you're slicing vegetables and you have to do it according to your rhythm?
Yeah, you have to do it the rhythm. Yeah.
Everything's a rhythm game.
Yes.
Another game that I thought could be worth mentioning is, this is not a game that I've played. It's a game that's coming out for Switch soon, and originally came out on Steam on October 10th, 2024. It's a game called Declines Drops. And you play as this puppet girl. I believe that's what she is. And she has boxing gloves, and there's a very whimsical, hand-drawn art aesthetic to it. And it plays like Smash Brothers. And that's, I think, the particular appeal that might appeal to Kirby fans. Or Smash Brothers fans, is that the controls are like Smash Brothers controls. There's also a combo meter, and it's almost, I believe that's kind of like Devil May Cry-ish in a way. I actually haven't played Devil May Cry either, but I saw it kind of compared to that. And it just seems like a cute kind of Smash Brothers inspired game that I think would be right up Kirby fans' alleys. It's not a game that I've played, but just looking at trailers for it, looking at reviews for it, it looks fun. I want to try it at some point. So people might want to check out Decline's Drops.
Yeah. You said it's a platformer too?
Yeah. It's not a platform fighting game. It's a regular platformer, but the controls are like Smash Brothers controls. As she beats up the enemies with her big gloves.
I mean that also just sounds like Kirby Superstar when you say it too, because I'm like, this could definitely appeal to Kirby fans, because if you like those sort of directional controls with various actions or whatever, and it's a platformer, this feels like pretty good for that itch,
Mm-hmm. Does anyone here know French? I would say the developer's name, but I know I'm probably going to butcher the French a little bit here. Le Moulin au Bouillet? Bulles?
I don't know either.
I don't know. Sorry.
But yeah, you can check it out on Steam. Also coming to Switch soon, Decline's Drops.
That's cool. I haven't heard of that one at all, actually. So that one's like a cool new one for me. And I didn't know it was coming for Switch too. So that's cool. I do get excited for Switch announcements now, since I like to use my Switch 2 quite a bit now. So having it all in one place is convenient. So good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to dig up things that I hadn't heard of before, or that seemed a little bit more like a little bit off the beaten path in some ways. Like, I think it's been around for a bit of time now, and it got a good response and everything. But also maybe isn't something on people's radars. So yeah, maybe check it out.
Thank you. So I still have stuff to talk about.
Are you like the kid at the Midwest Gaming Classic who's just going to keep pulling out game after game after game?
My bag's full of all these recommendations that I have to show someone.
Bridget has $600 worth of games to recommend to us.
I don't think so. I think a lot of these games are actually on the cheaper side too, which is like nice. I mean, I don't know about the Wii games. I guess Wii games have gone up in price now recently. I guess the Wii is retro now, so now everything retro is expensive. So I'm not sure of the prices, but I guarantee you it shouldn't be a $600 experience. So I have another game called Astropod Starside Glaze. And this is developed by Cheesy Moon. Their Blue Sky handle is Cheesy Moon, spelled with an I instead of a Y. bsky.social for Blue Sky. This I'm very excited to talk about this one. I'm a big Superstar fan, as everyone knows. And like the reason I really like Superstar is weird. I like it on a level that is like, it wasn't even my first Kirby game and I didn't really play it until college, but I really fell in love with this entry because I found it so really exciting, really electric, really like deep for a Kirby game. Like I'd played Kirby 64 before this one, which is still like a cool game, and like I loved it as a kid. It got me really excited to play the game. But like as far as coming back to a game over and over again, Superstar just had that, like just having all those moves just made me want to experiment and come back to the experience a lot. And I always wondered why Kirby games didn't do that for the longest time, but now they do, so it's cool. But like I just like that snappy, fast feel also of like older games. I think the flagship games are also good on this, where they have that like fast feel to them, which unfortunately, like over the years, the game's kind of slowed down a little more. And it's like a real particular thing to be particular about, but there are people who are like sensitive to motion in games, and Kirby Superstar just also had that like a good sense of motion to it, in my opinion. And the developer was highly influenced by Kirby Superstar. And you can feel it in how snappy this game is and how fast you go in it too, and how you can, you have to be careful because you might just crash into the enemy. But it feels good. It's a charming pastel-colored action game where the developer describes it as a 2D fighting platformer. So it kind of reminds me of the game you recommended, Sean, because I feel like Superstar and Smash Brothers are these games that have, it started with like a brawler fighter influence and then expanded to actually becoming a fighting game genre, but you can really feel it with this game as well. And it's highly inspired by Superstar. Pretty much this is what the developer said. But there you can feel other influences there as well. And it's a game where you play as a pair of astropods or astropod anthropods. I don't know. I guess they're like those little bugs. I'm not sure what they are. And you can swap between them. One has rapid attacks and with a big, with like a smaller weapon, and then one has a big hammer. That can be charged, and you can chain attacks. You can swap between your characters to continue fun combos. You also have the combo meter in this game too, which is fun. I like trying to get high on that combo meter. And then you can equip badges that alter movement and even change difficulties. And you can accept various challenges. So this is a really fun game that's like the developer straight up is like, I was influenced by a Kirby game. Just so you know. So I feel like this will definitely appeal to Kirby fans. It feels very nice. It's got a lot of options. It's very charming graphically and level design wise. There are like things that definitely harken to Milky Way Wishes or like Kirby's Adventure. So I highly recommend this one. And it's cute, also cute and charming too.
Yeah, I feel like I can't hear Glaze without, as someone who spends their time around a lot of Gen Alpha people.
I know. I kind of thought that too when I saw the title. It's like all I can think of is like when people say, "Oh, you're glazing them" or whatever. Yeah, I know.
Are we glazing?
I'm glazing this game. Yeah. I'm glazing this game.
Yeah, this looks really looks well done, very polished, very colorful. An interesting kind of blend of like that Kirby Superstar gameplay, like you described, with like very like traditional kind of indie game. Or maybe traditional is the wrong word, but very like what indie games do nowadays with like wall jumping and the platforming and the movement and the how you kind of like sequence your way through the stage. Like it does seem like an interesting cross between traditional influences and more modern influences.
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at screenshots and some videos, like the art styles really reminds me of Kirby, like the backgrounds. It's just like, I really like what I'm seeing here.
It's great. I would recommend it. There's one level that has this like these little star, I don't know what you would call them, but do you remember those things in Kirby's Adventure? Like the first game, the second game on NES, where it's like right near the end and it's referencing the first game, but there's that one level where like the gravity kind of pulls you up and down on these little star streams or whatever. There's like a level that just has a bunch of that remind me of Kirby's Adventure. The plot is basically that the evil, I don't know if it's like an evil wizard or something, stole the stars and stole the magical waterfall. And I'm like, is this just like this the plot of like Milky Way / Adventure? Like, I don't know if that's what I'm sure that's what they're going for, but like, it's cute. Like it wears I feel like sometimes you can borrow from something and it could be kind of obnoxious, but I feel like this is very, like, I feel love from this. Like it wears its influences on its sleeve in a lovingly way that, like, if you're a Kirby fan, you're gonna smile, I think.
Was it the bad wizard?
The bad wizard. The bad spooky dreams wizard. Woo.
That's his name. On his driver's license, it just says the bad wizard.
Yeah, I'm seeing the description, it calls the waterfall of dreams, so I'm pretty sure that's intentional.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was playing that, I noted that and I was like, so yeah, it's fun. I recommend this one a lot. So check it out if you're a Kirby fan. It's nice to see something too that is influenced by a game, but also has its own style and other influences, and it's cool. It's nice to see something influenced by a particular experience. Like when you see that people love like Banjo-Kazooie so much that they want to do a follow-up like Ukulele, or they like Air Ride so much they want to do Star Garden, or they want to do like a modern Suikoden spiritual game. Like being so inspired by something you just really loved in gaming growing up, but not seeing it out there as much, or getting that like same feel maybe in the modern games or something, and just kind of being like, well, I'm going to put my own thing out there is like exciting. It's something that's kind of exciting about gaming right now, where people are sort of like, if they have an idea, if they have something they love and it's not out there, you try to put it out there in the world, and it's cool.
Yeah. And a lot of the ukulele people did make Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah. I think it's the same folks. And I enjoyed ukulele. I thought it was really fun. So, and Impossible Lair also good. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, I feel like this is one I had maybe seen on Blue Sky or something kind of floating around, but I didn't know very much about it. So it's nice to learn more.
Yeah.
It might still be your turn, Bridget, unless you had any.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to hog everything.
No, you're not at all.
I just love video games so much.
Gigi, you've been playing Tomodachi Life, right?
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of Tomodachi Life.
I'm very curious to learn more about Tomodachi Life, because we were talking about before you started recording how that, like, I think that there's still something to that as something you'd recommend to a Kirby fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Tomodachi Life, you have to create your own meets. So, like, you start the game, you have to, like, be creating them. And there are many ways you can do that. Some people just create meets based on, like, real person. Like, they make their own me and then, like, put their family and friends. Some people put, like, their own characters. That's kind of what I've been doing, honestly. But there's also many people, including me too, that also puts fictional characters. I've seen many, many people put, like, islands of just a bunch of Kirby characters. And the fun thing is, like, because of the way you have to create a me, you kind of have to think, like, if I'm gonna add, I don't know, Kirby, how do you make a Kirby me? And everyone make their own Kirby me. There are some people who, like, make the Kirby face and everything and use, like, the face band and make, like, it's Kirby but, like, in the me face or something. There are people who go, like, and try to make, like, a human version of Kirby. Some are, like, pink hair or something, and then you have all sort of things. People are making Meta Knight, DDD, and I'm seeing a lot of Kirby characters being created. And then in this game, you can create, like, pretty much everything. You can create, like, custom pets, custom food, and so people sometimes are making, like, pets of, like, I don't know, the animal friends. I've seen people who made, like, a lobster cutter as a pet, which is really funny. And you can make food. So I'm seeing many people, including, I made a Kirby burger, like Kirby burger.
Ooh.
And I've seen many people create, like, the food items from Kirby games and also, like, from Kirby Cafe. Like, you can draw, like, everything. And I think this is a game, like, you can it's this game. I haven't played the 3DS game, but, like, from what I can tell based on the 3DS game, the new games, like, it's really focused on, like, creating custom things. Like, you create the Miis, you can also make custom, like, clothes, like I mentioned, pets, and you can make, like, anything. You can make, like, custom games you give to a Mii and then it will be playing, like, on their Switch. Like, the game's like a picture you draw, but, like, you gave a name. And, like, you can put, I don't know, you can give, like, Kirby Superstar to your Mii and they can be playing it. Like, why not?
Whoa.
So, like, you can create
awesome.
you can create your own experience. I've seen many people, like, make, like, Kirby Team Island. I've seen people, like, making other games. They sometimes put, like, I don't know, Kirby and Mario and Link, and then, I don't know, they put, like, Shrek and the island of Hatsune Miku, something like that. Like, they put a lot of characters. And you play how you want. I think what I like about this game that is not, like, yeah, you can put, like, Kirby characters, but I think in general, like, I think one of the aspects of Kirby that we mentioned before is, like, the quirkiness. Like, there are many situations you put your Miis and they're just, like, really funny. They remind me also, like, in the 3DS and Wii U era, like, in Wii era of, like, Nintendo, where they were, like, more I don't know if that's the best word, but they were more funny, I guess. Like they're making more. Like how they made in the directs, they had like Reggie fighting Iwata. Like I don't remember if you remember that. Like they had stuff like that. They don't do that anymore. And I feel like this game still has that essence, like from 10 years ago or something, where you can just like have funny little gags between your Miis, and it's just funny. And I think that's nice as well. And something that sometimes Kirby used to do and doesn't do as much these days, like I can think like the Kirby 64 cutscenes where sometimes it's just like a funny gag that's happening. Like that's a cutscene. Just it doesn't have to have a plot reason. It's just funny or it's just cute. So yeah. And you can also, what I like about this game as well is that you can play like your own way. Like they have this time you can have like non-binary beings. You can make like adjust the dating preference. So it's like if you wanna make to me's like dates or not, that's also an option. You can make like gay me's or something like that. So that's also really, I think it's really nice. And you can also like for example, if you don't want to romance your game, can just like make no one, like just be friends. That's an option that was in the 3DS. So like you can make your own experience. And I think it's really nice. I wasn't planning to get this game actually. And I have been playing it a lot, like, and sometimes just like 10 minutes, butt up the game, see what my Miis are doing, and then go back to what I was doing. It's really addictive. You really want to check like what Miis are doing, then like, I don't know. It's really
awesome.
I feel like this game kind of snuck up on me in a way. I don't know if I just wasn't following certain updates from Nintendo or not, but I feel like its release was kind of quiet. But it seems like people have really liked it. And like, I didn't know all the things that you were describing, but it sounds like a really content-rich game too. Like, it seems like they put a lot of effort into it.
Yes.
And it's fun that it, like, when you say like Nintendo used to be funny, I don't know if that's something that I quite like articulated in my own mind, but like, that's totally right. Like, it does feel like Nintendo maybe used to be funnier in a way. Not that there's not still humor in the games, but it's nice to see that side of them still.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, but like maybe it's because I also was like, I started playing Nintendo games around the DS and Wii era, which I felt like Nintendo was quirkier, like doing more funny stuff, for example, in directs, and just, I don't know. And now it's more corporate. I'm not saying that Nintendo right now isn't like funny or like you mentioned, but yeah, playing this game, I was like, oh yeah, that reminds me of like 10 years ago. And like, I don't know, it's kind of like the Mii vibe, I guess, like how Miis are just, I don't know, quirky.
No, I think that's true, actually. Well, now I don't even know if they do directs now. They just like drop an announcement and there you go. Like, I don't even know if they're doing it anymore.
Yeah. And you mentioned they had a Tomodachi Life Direct, like I think it was in February, but like it was just for Tomodachi Life. So I happened to watch it, but like I wasn't really interested. So I can see like you see that, oh, I'm not interested in this game, and then you just don't realize it's coming. It released like I think 2 weeks ago from the one we're recording. So yeah, it was in the middle of April. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been just kind of busy with school and stuff, so like I don't think I'm caught up on directs and things like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's really cool. Like, this makes me want to go like look up everything that's in there now.
Yeah. I'm curious about that one. I've never played one. Maybe I'll check out the 3DS one at some point, but if they ever have a sale, maybe I'll definitely dip. I just got so much on my plate right now, and it looks good. It looks cool though. I like to customize too, and I could probably just spend hours on that alone. So
yeah, you're probably going to see like social media for the next weeks or for a while, like people just posting like their creations. Probably going to continue because people are creating some really funny and really cute and like all sort of things you can imagine, from the funny, from like the cute, from like the really detailed, for like it's just a meme in the game. So yeah, people are really creative.
So you said Mario, Kirby, Link, and Shrek. Is that a Smash Brothers leak?
Yeah. Maybe.
Is
my
that
God,
everyone is here plus Shrek that people have been demanding?
Yes. Finally. But what about Goku?
Yeah, I was thinking like Goku is one.
That's awesome. You could just probably do like every Smash character in there, right? Is there enough slots for like every character in the roster?
Yes, you can have up to 70 Miis, so that's a lot. Actually, wait, how many Smash Bros. Ultimate? I think it's more than that.
Yeah, I think it's in the
more.
80s, isn't it?
It's in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can add everyone, but you can add most of them. So
we're leaving out characters that are sort of like, what do you call them? The doubles or whatever?
Equals.
No Echo Fighters.
Echo Fighters, yeah. No Mii Fighters, sorry. Awesome. That'll be on my eventual list, hopefully. So.
Hey everyone, my name's Darren Hupke. I'm a writer, publisher, and podcaster. My podcast is called Pixels and Polygons. Each week I sit down with a guest and ask one simple video game question. It's a random topic each week and it leads to a fun conversation. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform every Friday, and you can read more about it at pixelsandpolygons.net.
When we were at the convention, there were some people that came over. So we had a bunch of Nintendo 64 games out. I guess I should say Gooey and McKenna had brought them. But we had them out on the table. And Smash Brothers was very popular. A lot of people were playing Smash Brothers. And some people came over and they wanted to play Smash Remix. Do you know what Smash Remix is? It's like a modded version of the Nintendo 64 Smash Brothers that adds Crash Bandicoot and Marina Lightyears from Mischief Makers and like a bunch of other characters. And like it has new stages and stuff. I should look up whether she's Marina Lightyears or Marina Lightyear, but that character. So they decided to bring over Smash Remix, and I was curious to see it too, and they were playing it. It turns out they're also both like really like top, or two of the people that were playing of the three that were there are top Mario Kart 64 speedrunners. There was a guy there who was dressed as Wario who had been there before at our booth, and it kind of just seemed like, okay, yeah, there's this guy dressed as Wario, and he seemed really good at Mario Kart. And we were impressed at how good he was. But like, I didn't know that he was one of like the best in the world at speedrunning Mario Kart. And then he came over with his other friend, I guess, that is also like a really like top level speedrunner in Mario Kart 64. And he knew this other guy that was also there. And he was like, I know you. And the guy was like, oh, are you so-and-so? And I guess they like previously knew each other or something, but hadn't seen each other in like 10 years. And they seemed like really stoked to see each other again. And it was this weird little like reunion. I was even like, oh, we're having a reunion here at the Soundstone Network booth. But they seemed really happy to like run into each other again. And somehow like one of them knew the other guy or something, and the other guy knew the other guy. It was sort of a mutual friend situation. But it was a nice little moment for them. But then I watched them play Smash Remix, and I thought that was interesting too. So just kind of impromptu one I hadn't thought about mentioning as a recommendation. These are all otherwise professionally made games, for lack of a better word, maybe, but seems to be a very polished, well-received, modded version of Smash Brothers that people are also into. So I don't know, maybe people want to check that out too.
You could just buy it as a cartridge?
Well, he had it on an EverDrive. Which is like a cartridge that has a like SD card slot on it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so maybe not the most official thing necessarily, but something that's out there that people might be into.
Interesting.
It was fun to watch.
I'm intrigued. I played the modded Brawl one. I forgot what that one was called.
Project M?
Project M, yeah. I played Project M. But otherwise, yeah. I'm unfamiliar with that. I didn't know that existed, so that's cool. I like that it's other characters from N64 games, too, sort of like keeping it in that time frame to be like, what if this was the Smash that came out at that time, like fully loaded. But it's cool. It's like a weird alt timeline.
Yeah, I'll post a link to. I'm looking at a wiki about it, but looks like really, really content rich, even more so than I realized.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters.
But no Shrek.
Ooh.
I like that the mad piano from Super Mario 64.
Oh
is on
yeah,
this
I love
character.
that.
All right.
I'm very curious to learn more about some of these things. But Bridget, I know you had a bunch. I don't want to
no,
cut into that at all.
This was fun too. Yeah, I have 3 more games I can recommend. I don't know how much time we have. I can go just through them. The next game I actually have Wii games to recommend. I was feeling a little nostalgic for the Wii, and I was thinking of like kind of little Wii hidden gems that like people maybe you'll remember it if you're really diving into the Wii's catalog or whatever. But there's this game called Mercury Meltdown that was released for the Wii. It was created by UTV Ignition Games and Awesome Studios, and it's a Wii game that uses tilt controls to move a little blob of mercury through puzzle platforming levels. You collect stars, and if you hold on to most of your blob, you earn points. You can actually lose pieces of your mercury blob as you're like platforming, so the more you maintain, the higher your score. But you can do cool stuff like splitting your blob to solve puzzles, or changing your color as well to also solve a couple of the puzzles or open switches. It really scratched my tilt and tumble itch because you can use the Wii remote and just tilt that, similar to kind of how you could tilt the whole Game Boy to do things in that game. And it's a similar thing. You're rolling a ball, doing things, moving it to the goal, with a bit more puzzling and stuff involved, and tilt controls.
Nice. I think I had heard of this game before. Didn't really like, I don't know, like it felt like a title I had heard before, but I had nothing to directly associate with it or anything. And I didn't realize it was like Tilt and Tumble.
Yeah. It's I'm sure too, because it was the Wii, like the Wii kind of did have like a lot of games that people would like quote unquote call shovelware, and they're just game packages that you would look at and be like, well, that couldn't possibly be anything, right? Like it was hard to tell what was like a real gem and what was maybe like something kind of goofy. But this was actually like a real like hidden gem. I feel like this is well thought out. It had some really cool puzzling. Could be challenging. I thought it used the tilt controls fine. Like I remember getting through it. It was, it was a little challenging, but like in that regard, but it was like a cool, genuine, cool puzzle game. I'm pretty sure it reviewed well at the time too. So, people might have seen it and just walked past it, but like it's a cool game.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, but like it looks interesting.
Maybe I'm thinking of I might be thinking of Mercury City Meltdown. Maybe that's where I heard of it before, from SSX Tricky. I think maybe that's what I was. I'm like, I've heard something like that before. Also a good game. Maybe not as similar to Kirby, but we did mention SSX Tricky in a previous episode as maybe being something Kirby fans could check out. Yeah, I was thinking of Mercury City Meltdown, but Mercury Meltdown also looks cool.
Yeah. So do check that out. I don't know how much it goes for now. I don't think it would be that expensive, since it was sort of one of those like weird games that I don't know everyone knew about, but I don't know. But you can play that on your Wii. I think there was also a port on maybe PlayStation Portable as well. And I don't know if it's been ported since or is on other platforms, but I mostly recommend the Wii version for like the tilt controls, because to me that's like the real way to kind of play it, I feel, to get that experience.
Yeah, it looks like there was a PS2 one as well. It looks like there is like a PSP one. There's a PS2 one. I like too how much this podcast has turned into recommending games about blobs.
That's what we should just change our podcast to like about blob enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love blobs here. What can I say? And I've got more blobs to recommend because the next game is The Munchables, which is also on the Wii and involves little round guys. This one's a cute, charming, easygoing game where cute round characters eat many enemies and to evolve and grow. So like the reason I recommend this game, it's like it's pretty on the easy side, it's cute, it's entry level if you're looking for like more games for kids that love Kirby. As folks like, you know, as individuals getting into gaming at that age, like this seemed like a cute recommendation. And it's like characters that are round and cute and eat everything. So, so it's a kid-friendly option for parents looking for more friendly games for newcomers. Much like Kirby, you collect acorns in each level to unlock a time attack mode for the game if you need more. So there is like more challenge afterwards, similar to Kirby. And this was also developed by Namco Bandai, and it's also highly recommended for Katamari fans because it's about going around and getting bigger and bigger. So also recommended.
Cool. Yeah, this is another one I've not heard of at all, but very happy to know about too.
Yeah, this is a cute one. It's not like super tough or anything. I don't know how engaging it might be for every gamer, but I remember playing it. It was very cute. It's Bandai Namco. They did like a really nice job. It's got like nice graphics, sound, a lot of cute little like power-ups you can do in the levels too. So there's effort that went into this game. It's just like it's like a genuinely nice little game. It's just, but it is what it is. It's just easygoing, which is not a bad thing.
Nice. If you want to just sit back and munch some creatures.
Yeah, there you go. It's fun. I don't know. Like in Katamari, it's just kind of fun picking stuff up, and somehow that's like engaging. There's like the timing and everything that gives it the challenge, but sometimes I just like to roll up a big old ball, you know?
Yeah, I'm bringing up a gameplay video of it now.
Have you ever, you said you've never seen this one at all before?
Yeah, this one's new to me. Super Chomper.
Yeah, it's cute too. It's cute, more cute round guys, because I don't know. I think if you like Kirby, you'll like more cute round guys.
And then is that like a stomach meter off to the side?
I believe so, yeah. There's like you have different options too. Like you can eat stuff, but you also have a bash for like there's these big enemies that are harder to eat. But if you can't eat them and you can't, for whatever reason, grow bigger and eat smaller guys to get to it, you could try bashing them to kind of break them apart and then eat them to get bigger. So I don't know. There's a couple of little different things we could do in the game.
Nice. It looked like he just went into Quake mode. He ate a weight and went into Quake mode. It kind of reminds me of Mouthful mode in a way.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's easy. Check it out. Oh, you might like it. I don't know. I don't know if this one's expensive now too, because now people are probably finding like all the hidden gems and retro consoles, but I kind of don't think so. So I don't know. Check it out. I think it might be stuck on the Wii too. So
he's at a boss called Great Grapey.
Yeah, there's stuff named after food too. That's very Kirby-like.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing us something so new and off the beaten path.
Yeah, I like going off that path.
I'm curious about, let's see, I'm looking at the list you shared with us. What is Ender Lily's Quietest of the Nights?
So this is the last game on my list. And this is the one game I haven't played. But I looked it up and I was like, oh, this seems really cool. I don't know if I'll play this right away, but it looks cool. It's a dark fantasy Metroidvania game where you play as a small priestess who commands a night spirit. Her name is Lily, and she can purify boss enemies. By doing so, you gain their abilities and spirits. It's got a great goth aesthetic and moody game, dark fantasy appeal to it. Similar to kind of games like Dark Souls and things like that. And but although it gives a Souls vibe, the game is considered an easier title within the Souls arena. But it supposedly does pick up quite a bit at the end. It's also unique in that you're controlling, instead of controlling like a cool knight type of guy in this world, you're this little girl, and there's something sort of really vulnerable about it, because it's more about like the thing that's fighting are like her spirits and her spirit knight and stuff. That is what you'll use to attack. Meanwhile, you kind of have to guide her and have her jump out of the way and things like that. So she almost feels like out of place in this like very spooky world and very fragile. And it's sort of like this very vulnerable feeling aspect to it that I found very unique about it. And it looks really cool. I don't think it's like super expensive either. And this is like an indie game as well. It reviewed really well. It seemed like people are mostly sort of, yeah, it's a little more on the easier side for a Souls-like type of game, but like people seem to like it, so I'm interested. I put that on there because the whole stealing spirits from the enemies for attacks reminded me of Kirby, and then also kind of reminded me of Castlevania too, like with Dawn of Sorrow and games like that. So that made me interested in it.
Yeah, I've heard about this game before, like, but I haven't ever played it. But yeah, I haven't actually related that with getting like the abilities or whatever, like being Kirby. But that's really a Kirby thing, yeah. I really like that.
Yeah, it's I do relate getting enemy abilities with Kirby, and I don't know if like in the whole history of video games, Kirby's truly the first to ever do it. But it's just so iconic to Kirby, like in terms of making it like putting it out there as like, you know, maybe Dark Souls wasn't like the first hard adventure game of this sort, but like the Souls-like thing is because it put it out there in the world. It is like kind of infamous for it. That is sort of what you get when you get that, and they kind of put that on the map. And I feel like Kirby kind of puts, you know, Kirby is like Kirby's like elements on the map for that. So when I see it in other games, I'm like, this is like a Kirby game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like doing it on the fly, like Mega Man had, you get the boss abilities and
at the
stuff.
end, yeah.
But that idea of like moment to moment, you're doing one thing, then you're doing something else, then you're doing something else. I like that versatility a lot. It's one of the biggest things I like about Kirby games. And this seems to have that. I don't know if I've heard of this or not. I've watched various montages of like upcoming Metroidvanias or upcoming platformers and things like that. So it might have been listed in kind of a video compiling a bunch of different things, but it wasn't front of mind for me. So thanks for recommending it.
Yeah, no, I'd like to play it someday, so I'll put it on my wish list. Says maybe revisit it in the future. But yeah, I like Metroidvanias. I like Dark Souls, and I like Kirby. So
yeah,
it works for me.
All right, well, that is a full slate of Kirby-ish games that we would recommend to our listeners. Some we've played, some we've just seen, and that have our attention. But I encourage people to maybe check those out. Maybe look up a video, maybe look up a trailer or something. Maybe it'll be up your alley if you like Kirby games. I know I learned about some new things from this conversation that I'm looking forward to looking into more. And thank you for sharing what you did, Bridget and Gigi.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been Kirby Conversations. I'm Sean Douglas. I'm here with Bridget and Gigi. We are producers on the show, and we are part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, along with Flashback 64, Pixels and Polygons, Instruction Derby, and Millennium Edition. You can follow us at the links in the show notes. Our theme music is by Megan Kells, a new arrangement by Duncan Pixel T. Smith. And if you want to reach out to us, you can always email us at mail@kirbyconversations.com. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back again soon with more Kirby Conversations. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Nick McConnell, and you caught me reading the instruction booklet for Street Fighter II in preparation for my weekly stream Instruction Derby, where I take a look at the creative, fun, and sometimes bizarre lost art of video game manuals. Did you know that, according to the manual for Street Fighter II on the Super Nintendo, Ryu was born in 1964, making him 62 years young, canonically? Happy birthday, Ryu. You're looking great. Did you also know that, per the manual for Laser Invasion on the Nintendo, the UN enters a conclave in order to select a new commando? Or did you know that the dancing enemies in Super Castlevania are named Paula Abgul and Fred Askare? These important facts and many more are discovered every Wednesday at noon Pacific on Instruction Derby over at internet website twitch.tv/Nick McConnell. Part of the Soundstone Network.